We are live talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie on Box Office Quarterbacks. But
Super
before we
Mario
do that,
Galaxy movie.
Super Mario Galaxy movie. See, it's very early in the morning. We are not used to this, right, Ahmed?
No, we
Uh,
are not.
we are not. So before we do that, and we are back. Yeah, Ahmed. This movie, I think, is going to be our first real debate of the year. Super Mario Galaxy came out a few years ago. It came out fairly quick as a sequel to the last movie. I was actually surprised on how fast they kind of got this one in theaters, but I liked it. I know you liked like the animation, but what were your initial thoughts after leaving the theater?
It was, oh God, leaving the theater. That's a whole nother question. Initial reactions were it was hard to watch the movie without comparing to the first one. And I kept having to tell myself, stop doing that. Just enjoy the freaking movie. Like there was a lot of work that was put into it. But when I left the theater, my wife and I, we just felt really disappointed because I think, like you said, it seemed rushed. I didn't like that the fact that it's called the Super Mario Brothers movie or Super Mario Galaxy, and we hardly got to see the brothers. We barely got to see Yoshi when that was the whole thing that was hyped up. Donald Glover being able to play Yoshi, and then all he does is kind of do like the squeaky voice, which is fine, but it's like I don't know, it just felt kind of wasted. And then them teasing the whole, oh yeah, Glenn Powell's gonna be there. It seemed like they had like different stories in one, and the main story was supposed to be about Rosalina, who we also barely saw. But then we also like it was like they were really trying to force us to accept so many things that just had a lot of plot holes and plot holes. I mean, Bowser has a kid, so what happened to his freaking mom? And then he's been a deadbeat dad, and but Bowser Jr.'s like, no, it's all good, and they're like patch things up almost very very quickly. Like, oh, okay. And is he good? Is he bad? It just all seemed so rushed. So I left the theater feeling really disappointed. I wish we were re-reviewing Super Mario Brothers movie because I was watching that this morning, and like 5 minutes into the movie, there's already so much action. There's so much like depth and storytelling. There's like a plot point where you kind of are hooked. 5-10 minutes into the movie, you're of Super Mario Galaxy, you're still going, oh, what's going on now? So this is where Yoshi's been. Rosalina's been kidnapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will agree with you that it was very rushed. Like you are kind of jumping from planet to planet here. There was one sequence where I think they're on that bee planet, right? And then Bowser gets imprisoned to, work with the bees and he
Well, he
sacrifices
volunteers
himself.
to get imprisoned.
Yeah. And then 2 seconds later he's kidnapped by Bowser Jr. So I was like, well, that sequence wasn't really worth it. And then you got Issa Rae to play the bee queen
Yeah.
for like 2 minutes. I was like, that's a big name to throw in for 2 minutes. Um, I did like the movie, and I think that there was another podcast that described it perfectly, where it's not really a movie; it's a series of events that happen until you get into the end. And I would agree with that. Like I would definitely agree. I had a good time. I really loved Jack Black as Bowser. I thought it was hilarious where when you first see him and he's like, "Oh, hey Luigi." He's like, "Oh, what's up, Mario?"
Yeah.
Just had me cracking up. I like Bowser Jr.'s power set. I really thought that looked cool on screen. Just like his little paintbrush and him making like that dragon come to life at the end, or I think it was Luigi at that point. But yeah, the animation looks really beautiful in this movie, and
Yes.
that is the thing that's going to stand out with me. I did like the galaxy setting more than I thought I would, but I do wish there was probably like 15 minutes more at least added to the runtime here.
Hmm. I just wish.
Lost you there, buddy. But yeah,
It was just
um,
like, where where is Star Fox? Where Toad go? There were a lot of moments where I started questioning, where are these guys? What are they doing? And you get a lot of like, oh, this is where Luigi has been. This is where Toad has been in the first movie. And I feel like we just got really spoiled. They captured lightning in a bottle with the first movie, and it's going to be a very difficult task to do that. And so I just wish they would have taken a little bit more time to make sure that they crossed all their T's and dotted their I's instead of just going, all right, we have a deadline, let's go.
yeah, sometimes bigger isn't always better. I do like a lot here, though. I will say that I did have a fun time. Like I was laughing out loud in a few parts of this movie. The Yoshi stuff, yeah, like you said, I would have never known it was Donald Glover. That could have been anybody, because he just did the Yoshi, you know.
And
Um,
that's awesome that he can do the voice, but it's like, you're going to have somebody like that, and that's all they're going to do. What's to stop them from being computer generated? Like, had you told me it was computer generated or they picked like the sound bites from the video game, I would have believed you as well.
yeah. Um, well, let's talk about scenes. Are there any scenes here that in particular stood out to you?
I loved the fire scene with Peach and Mario where they were jumping over the thing and Bowser Jr. was like, "This is gonna be the thing that's gonna like stop them." I loved that. I loved the beginning as well where they're like in what appears to be Mexico, or Mexico
Yeah.
City, where it's the calaveras. Is that it, Tesh? The calaveras. My wife's right here. She's my Mexico consultant. But I loved those scenes. But those scenes just felt so fast and so rushed. Like, oh man. But I loved the fire. I love the animation. I loved, as well as you mentioned about Bowser Jr.'s like paintbrush. I thought that was really clever. I was hoping that every time Mario grabbed a hold of the brush, it would be like he would turn into Metal Mario or something. I don't know what I was hoping for, but I was just hoping for a little bit more excitement from there.
That would have been sick. I really like the puppet show, the
The
Bowser
puppet show
puppet,
was good. Yes,
because it was so damn funny because he's such a bad dad. He is really not a great dad. He's like he's like, go after your enemies and do all this shit. So I really did like the puppet show. I did like Star Fox. I did think it was Rush though with Glenn Powell. I think he's a perfect voice for Star Fox. I loved like, and Gerald will like me saying this. I like the anime introduction of Star Fox. I thought that was
that's true.
a little breakup of the animation style in this film. So I would say that's
Agreed.
my two highlights for sure. Would be those two scenes. As far as like characters or anything like that, I wanted to see more of Star Fox. I don't think that he warranted enough screen time for him to even make it to my favorite characters, though. So I did
That's
like
fair.
Bowser Jr. more than I thought I would. I thought he'd be super annoying.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I would have loved to have Star Fox as my favorite character. You know what? You know what kind of really bummed me out? Donkey Kong not being there.
Yeah,
Which, like, when I watched Super Mario Brothers, there were a lot of moments where it's like I could tell, like, oh, of course, Jack Black, he's singing, but I loved it. Donkey Kong and Seth Rogen's signature laugh, I forgave it. And so by not having Seth Rogen, I feel like there was some sort of like really strong element. I don't think I had a favorite character, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. I do think Donkey Kong was missed. I had no idea Seth Rogen wasn't going to be in this movie. Like you see him in the background in Brooklyn, which I thought that was creative in the beginning, and Yoshi's backstory where it's Donkey Kong like on the pillars, kind of like his original video game appearance, and I really like that. But
Yeah.
he was such a big part of the first movie that I was waiting for him to show up the entire time.
And I'm sure maybe he was busy or something like that. But like, even the fact that like I was prepared to have Yoshi be my favorite character. I don't have my popcorn bucket, but AMC Theaters released like two buckets. One of them just a regular circle with like the pretty colors, Super Mario Galaxy colors, and the other one is like a big Yoshi where he's holding an egg, and you open up the egg and it's popcorn. You put the popcorn in there. I was really prepared to have Yoshi be my favorite character, but the way my wife described it was they made him sort of like Stitch or the minions from Despicable Me, where he's unintelligible and it's
That's a
like
good one.
forcing you to be adorable. And my other gripe was in the trailer, they have the blue star, the one who's like all death and destruction with the cute
Yeah.
voice. He's in the fucking post credit scene.
I was waiting for him to show up too. And like, how did he get captured in the first place?
How did he
Type
get
thing.
well? Right, like you. They show him in the trailer hitting a jail bar and everything. They set up so much, and they really hyped Yoshi up so much in the last post credits that like we were all building up to what's gonna happen, what's his storyline, and then it just all seemed wasted. It was like, oh, this is supposed to be Yoshi's backstory. No, 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 it's Rosalina's backstory.
Yeah, they could have done some like emotional stuff with Yoshi here, I think, where you know Yoshi, his egg falls down the pipe and he is alone, and you could have done like a whole found family thing with that, I feel. And you could have had him kind of like not knowing where he came from, kind of like the princess in the first movie. But it was so quick, the introduction to Yoshi and him just being a part of the team. And even Toad was like, oh, I guess this dinosaur is a part of the team now.
Literally, and I still like Toad. So, and only because Keegan Michael Key does such an incredible, incredible job. I don't care for Toad in the video games, but Keegan Michael Key changed my mind. Keegan Michael Key, like, subscribe, follow us. We love you, and Jordan Peele.
Yes. Um, so yeah, like before we get to our final rankings, and Jordan Peele, you should make him a voice in the next movie, by the way.
I would love that. I think
Yeah.
he would like him playing like Toad's enemy or something like that, or somewhere like a little thing for us. That would be cool.
Yeah. So in the next movie, this is what I want to see. I think Wario needs to show up and Waluigi. Speaking of like enemies of like
Agreed.
characters we know, that's what
Yeah.
I would want to see. I think Galaxy was very ambitious for a second movie. I think maybe if you did like a Wario Luigi story here, it would have made a little more sense. So that's where I would like a third movie to go if I were the one picking.
I think the second movie did a lot of world building, and so maybe it does open the door for a stronger third chapter, like Wario and Waluigi. And I believe I heard that Charlie Day, who plays Luigi, was suggesting that Danny DeVito should play Wario. I am
Oh my
all
God.
for that. All
Yes.
for it.
Yeah, make that happen immediately. That would be hilarious.
I
Because
mean,
he's
sure.
perfect.
Yeah, let Jordan Peele play Waluigi, something, I don't know, but like that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be awesome, and I have high hopes that the third one will be stronger. I didn't care for John Wick 2, but I loved John Wick 4.
Yeah, I
So
think yeah, there's ways to right the ship for sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think we can learn our lessons here, kind of go from there. I know Star Fox probably getting his own movie, which I'm down for, and I will see. As far as this movie right now, Ahmed, what would you give it on our scale?
this has been tough, man. I was thinking about this while I was watching the movie. I don't want to give it a. I don't want to cut it. I think I'll give it like a starter cut.
Okay, so right on the bubble,
Yes,
right
like a
on the
two and a
bubble.
half.
Yeah,
Two and a half, like maybe a three, because the animation was so good. But unfortunately, just me personally, I can't get over the storyline. I will rewatch the Super Mario movie over and over again because of its rewatchability, its storytelling, its animation, musical numbers, everything about it was perfect. And again, lightning in a friggin' bottle. And I wish they would have been able to capture that they weren't able to. The press junket that they were having like before it just kind of made me feel like something's wrong, and I was right. And I hate being right.
Yeah. Sound like Ian Malcolm on Jurassic Park. It's like, God, I hate being right all the time.
Well, even like Eternals, they did that press thing and
Yeah.
everything, and it turned out to be Kumail Nanjiani's worst movie.
Yeah.
Just wasted all like his whole look at how cut he got for this movie, and they made him look like a total simp, even though he's
I get,
like supposed to be the second strongest.
yeah. And he was the best character in that entire movie, too. And I still want
Yeah,
Kingo to come back because Kingo's the only character in that movie I ever want to see again.
agreed, agreed.
Yeah.
Glenn Powell, we want Glenn Powell to come back. We want Justice for Kumail and justice for Glenn Powell as Star Fox.
Yes. I think, Ahmed, you talked me down a little bit here. I was very high on this movie when I came out of the theater. But now, as I think about some of the like the rushed plot points here, and I got very distracted by all the pretty colors. I really did. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna put this in between a starter and an all-star. I don't think I'm gonna quite give it an all-star because I would probably be lying if I said it was better than the first movie.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, I accept that. I was prepared to do the same thing. I was prepared to give it an all starter, trademark.
yeah,
But like, I just couldn't get past like how disappointed I felt after leaving. I'm like, man, I was really hoping this and this and this, and you never want to leave the theater feeling that way.
yeah. So I think there's a lot of good here. There are still some problems, and I hope they do fix them and kind of flesh out the story a little bit more for the third movie. But yeah, that's our thoughts on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you don't catch our live streams, you could always catch the our episodes later on YouTube. I know a lot of people have been doing that because we're kind of recording at random times of the day. But yeah, like and subscribe. We'll be back very soon. I know we're going to talk about the Michael Jackson movie at some point this month and some other stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm Jeff. That is my friend Ahmed. We are Box Office QBs, and we will talk to you guys very, very soon. Have a good one.